Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and with War of the Spark closing in, it's kind of difficult to come up with some new decks that would really survive the meta, so I thought today what we'd do instead is build a little budget list for a deck that I don't think will really struggle in the new meta. It's kind of an aggressive deck that's built off of an existing archetype already, which is the mono-white aggro list. You might have seen a lot in the Mythic Invitational, but we're going to be playing it as kind of a Pridemate deck instead, because I do absolutely love Ajani's Pridemate. It's a 2-mana 2/2, and it says whenever you gain life, you put a 1/1 counter on it. So this is basically a life gain kind of aggro deck. Now, as far as budget is concerned, my usual restrictions for the budget itself is 6 rares and 4 mythics. Well, this one kind of stretches the rares a little bit. We're running 7 rares in total, 4 Legion's Landings and 3 Dawn of Hopes, but we're running absolutely 0 mythics in this one as well. So I figured I could really just push that extra little point, because Legion's Landing is a powerful card, as is Dawn of Hope. You could actually, if you wanted the crafting order as far as these rares are concerned, focus entirely on the Legion's Landings and then move to the Dawn of Hopes. They are quite useful, but they can struggle a little bit against Mortify-based decks and things like that, but it is a card advantage monster in this list, so it is also quite powerful indeed. So what is this deck? As mentioned, we are going to be building around Ajani's Pridemates. We want a lot of life gain synergies, as well as keeping the deck nice and cheap, because we want to force our opponent into chump blocks and eventually having nothing to defend themselves, and then a lethal Pridemate coming in, swinging, taking about 3/4 of the life off just on its own. That's the idea. So in the 1-drop slot, we have, of course, the Legion's Landings. It's one of our 2 rares in the deck. 2 of card types, anyway. Legion's Landing, 1 white mana legendary enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you get to create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. So it is a lifelink token that gains us life for the Pridemate. It's also something to trigger off of our Ajani's Welcome as well, which is a 1-mana enchantment. It says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life, which triggers Pridemate again. But it also has the added ability of whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you get to transform it into a Danto the first 4. Now, a Danto is a white land that can also pay 3 and tap itself, 4 mana total, to create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink, which is kind of a similar effect to Dawn of Hope here, which also has the 4 mana create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. So same kind of effect, except for Dawn of Hope can do it repeatedly, whereas Legion's Landing can only do it once. In the early game, that's going to be something that's not really going to be too much of trouble, but if we do go into the late game, Dawn of Hope is really how we manage to do that. So as I mentioned, it is a card advantage monster, because whenever you gain life, you get to pay 2, and if you do, draw a card. So we can play any of our 1-drops here, and on 3 mana, when they enter the battlefield, if there's an Ajani's Welcome in play, or some sort of life gain trigger, maybe Healer's Hawk attacks, we can pay 2 to draw a card. So we'll just be cycling through our deck like crazy to find whatever we need. To keep the board refilled as well, in case of a board wipe, we do have a lot of long game potential thanks to Dawn of Hope. As I mentioned, Ajani's Welcome is here just for the ETB effects. Not leveraging this one too much by putting 4 copies in though, because we are instead going to go with the Healer's Hawk plan, which is a 1-mana 1/1 flying lifelink, so really good evasion and allows us to beat in the air, gaining the life, which is kind of what Ajani's Welcome would be doing anyway, as a 1-drop slot. And then we can drop down Ajani's Pridemate on turn 2, attacking with the Healer's Hawk, and we automatically have a 3 power and toughness 2/2, which is pretty solid. Leon and Vanguard as a 4 of here, 1 mana for a 1/1, but at the beginning of your combat, if you control 3 or more creatures, which hopefully we should do by turn 3, then you get +1/+1 and gain 1 life, triggering Pridemate and making this a 2/2. So it's a 2/2 for 1. So we're getting some really good statted creatures here. It's kind of the theme with the deck. We can also protect our Pridemates as well from cast downs and anything of that nature, destroy and burn effects using Dauntless Bodyguard, 1 mana 2/1, again overstatted for its mana cost. And when it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature, which is likely to be the Pridemate, or maybe something else that we want to protect anyway. Most likely going to be the Pridemate. And you can sacrifice it to give that creature indestructible until the end of the turn. So if your opponent does go to kill your 16/16 Pridemate, you can just sacrifice Bodyguard in response to basically, it's almost like a redirect in a sense. And then you get yourself an indestructible creature token instead, which is pretty sweet. Adanto Vanguard, again, a control monstrosity. 2 mana 1/1, but when it attacks it becomes a 3/1, and you can pay 4 to give it indestructible until the end of the turn, which means destroy effects and burn effects are not going to kill this creature. Now, it's pretty bad to do that against mono red, because you do have to pay 4 life, but we gain a lot of life with this deck, so that pay 4 life is basically irrelevant, honestly. We can use this as many times as we want, just so long as we've got our life gain engine going. Knight of Grace, a 2 mana 2/2, could be a 3/2 as well, though, if our opponent has a black permanent across from us. We pretty much use this one against the control decks that will be running things like Cast Down and Moment of Craving, and since it has Hexproof from black, it can't be targeted by those, which makes it very difficult to deal with. As well as having First Strike as well, makes it a really good blocker against the red decks, as well as a really good attacker as well, which is pretty sweet. The removal of choice for us is going to be Baffling End. It's one that doesn't see too much play, but I think in an aggressive deck it is pretty solid all the same. It's a 2 mana enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or less, which is mostly the entire format, barring a few little bombs along the way, but we're trying to kill our opponent, or at least force them into chump blocking Pridemates before the 3 converted mana cost or less becomes a bit of a problem. It does have a downside as well. When it leaves the battlefield, an opponent gets to create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with trample, but that shouldn't crop up too much, and even if it does, we should have a pretty good attacker to go right through that dino anyway. Bugler is pretty solid here. It's one of our only 3 drops here. It's a 3 mana 2/3 with Vigilance again, pretty good stats, and when it enters the battlefield you get to look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with power 2 or less from among them and put it into your hand, the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order. So what does Bugler hit in this deck? The answer is absolutely everything as long as it's a creature. So we've got the Bodyguards, the Healer's Hawks, the Vanguards, the Pridemates, and the Knight of Graces. It pretty much hits everything. We do have a few whiffs in the deck though, you know, as non-creatures and enchantments and things like that, but there is a very good chance that this actually ends up hitting. I don't think I've actually missed with Bugler in my entire time playing this deck, which is not to say that it can't happen, because of course there's just 21 planes here, so there's a good chance that you hit those, but you know, it's still really good value all the same, and wonderful at rebuilding a board post-wipe. And finally, we have 1 copy of Conclave Tribunal as a bit of a catch-all. As I mentioned, Baffling End does whiff occasionally in the late game, so Conclave Tribunal is basically our catch-all for whatever Baffling End doesn't hit. Planeswalkers, Ixalan's Bindings, things of that nature. We can get rid of pretty much anything we really need to, and it has Convoke as well, which means we can play this one super cheap. You might want to think about going 2 Baffling Ends, 2 Tribunals, depending on the meta that you're going up against, but right now it seems as though Tribunal and Baffling End, in the current configuration that we have them, is pretty reasonable. If you don't have all 3 Dawn of Hope, so you don't want to construct 3 anyway, you could probably bring down Dawn of Hope for a Conclave Tribunal. That's probably a nice little substitute there. But yeah, that's essentially the deck. We're running 21 lands because we don't really go above 2 mana in this deck, and we're likely to flood. Legion's Landing is also a land as well, so we can get some value from that one later down the line. Without further ado though, we're going to take it into some matches, showcase the deck, and yeah. Also, I have some sideboard stuff. I'm not going to go through this one too much, but these were some considerations for possible inclusions. We have like the Benelish Marshals and the Loxodons, which are the mono-white aggro staples. So if you want to really upgrade this one, you want about 3 or 4 copies of these in the deck over, I don't know, probably the Pridemates later down the line, the Ajani's Welcomes. Go a little bit more into the mono-white aggro strategy anyway. Gideon's Reproach is a decent removal spell if you don't have the Baffling Ends or the Tribunals. Snubhorn is something that I would add later down the line, because we don't really get the Ascension too easily with this one. We're not generating a crap ton of tokens. Aspirants, pretty good aggro card. Hunted Witness, same thing. And has the Marshals, who's pretty good with the Sentries if you want to create some more soldiers. But yeah, anyway, without further ado, let's get into the games, and I'll see you there. Alrighty then, we're in, and on the play, we've got turn 1, 2-1 maybe? I don't know when I want to put down this Ajani's Welcome, honestly. And I kind of like the idea of having Bodyguard actually targeting something. I'm going to keep this hand, it's just, I'm unsure which direction I actually want to go in. It's like I could put down a 1-1, but it's not going to be a 2-2 and gaining me life anytime soon. On the same note, I could do with Johnny's Welcome, which gives my actual 2-2 life gain. Yeah, I guess so. If I want to get the bodyguard to have a target, then I should really go Johnny's Welcome into Knight of Grace here, I think. It's a black deck. Get wrecked. Ooh. Legion's Landing's quite nice. Okay, so we can go Knight of Grace, gain a life. Now we have a 3-2 with First Strike that has Hexproof from black. So this should block everything my opponent wants to do throughout this game. And look at them trying to target. Good stuff. Graveyard Marshal. Yep, we can block that. Ooh, we can even Baffling End it. We don't really need to do that just yet, though. Because they won't want to exile the Gutterbones. So all we really have to do is put something in the way of Gutterbones that deters them from attacking, I guess. We can do Legion's Landing token. And since it's mono black, I don't really need to protect Knight of Grace at all. So I'm just going to do on the Vampire token instead, since the life gain is quite nice. And yeah, let's just hold back. Get ready for flipping a Legion's Landing. Which is kind of a miniature Dawn of Hope. Enchantment's also superb against mono black. Drill Bit, never mind. They're not superb against hand disruption. Well, they're in your hand anyway. If they're in play, then they're great. Let's see what they actually go with. They might want to take the Baffling End, perhaps. Just because it's a proper exile. It's not like Seal Away where they can get it back later if there's somehow a different colour. Yeah. Dawn of Hope's just too much value for them. They can't handle it. And letting it go. Alright. Okay, so I could play Vanguard to gain a life and get a 2-2. I'm going to be swinging, so Legion's Landing's going to flip. And I'm probably going to lose one creature in the process. So I have the choice between making a Vampire token off of the Adanto or getting down the Vanguard. I guess I should get the cards out of my hand since they're running hand disruption. So let's just get rid of Gutterbones once and for all. Properly exiled, so not going to be able to come back later down the line. And let's swing. We're going to lose either the Vampire token here or the Bodyguard. I'm fine with either, because we've now got a flipped Legion's Landing. So yeah. That's fine by me. Hit him for 5. And pass the turn. I'm really liking where we're at. I just wish we had that Dawn of Hope. Dawn of Hope plus Adanto is basically just a carnage monstrosity. Even though, I suppose, the 3 and white there on the activated ability kind of does exactly the same as Adanto anyway. But still, it's very nice to have both. Alright. My turn. Another Baffling End. They don't have a creature in the graveyard, so Marshal can't actually activate at the moment, so we're just going to hold the Baffling End. Serves no purpose at the moment. If our opponent's attacking us for 3, then we're just going to attack them back for 7. And got a cast down. Yep, sure. Not fussed about that at all. I mean, we're at 24, so we really don't need all the life gain at all in this situation. We can make a token, gain a life off the welcome. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, even welcome plus Dawn of Hope is also very nice. Okay, so that's something that we can't Baffling End. Which is a shame. But we can just do a go wide strategy or something like that. So 4-5 on its own isn't the end of the world. Yeah. I think we just pass. So we got them down to 10 before they actually presented a blocker we can't actually remove right now. We can with the Conclave Tribunal if we find that. Or we can just outvalue them by getting flyers with Healer's Hawk. just drawing loads of cards if we find Dawn of Hope. There's many ways we can beat a 4/5 Menacer without needing to go to combat. Alright, keep going wide. Okay. Good job, Massacre Girl isn't actually a thing right now. That would be unfortunate, right? So you are not actually protecting anything right now, so just keep passing. We can also get a Pridemate, which will eventually get bigger than the Josu Vest, but I've got to imagine that they've got removal in hand right now, so a Pridemate on its own is not really going to do much. We have our first striker, so there are no good attacks except for Josu Vest, and honestly, Josu's the only thing stopping me from attacking right now, so... Yep, there's a murder on the bodyguard. Really happy to see that happen. Because the more removal they use on just little things, the more likely my Pridemate is to stick around. Another Legion's landing. Okay. So that means we can do some value play here. Potentially. I think we're 1 mana short of doing actually what I wanted to do. I wanted to flip this new Legion's Landing to have it as an untapped land so that we can then Baffling End, but yeah, it's just not really. It's not really feasible. There's no reason for me to hold it in hand though. I don't think. I guess there is in case they've got like Cry of the Carnarium or something like that. Then at least we've got something to pick up after. Yeah, let's just keep cards in hand. Also, Dawn of Hope, it will trigger by gaining life off of the Ajani's Welcome. It's also a nice option for us. Yeah, other than Josu, doesn't really matter what they attack him with. And they might be thinking of putting a creature in the graveyard so Graveyard Marshal can work, but it's not really working. Alright, yep, keep passing. So we're guaranteed to add a 1/1 every single turn. They're not necessarily guaranteed to do the same, so we can go wide on them. Torgar, turning our life to 10. Okay. Fair dues. That's a lot of life loss. Value, all that. Okay. Nobody expects the Torgar. Well, let's start rebuilding our life total. Ooh boy, that's a Healer's Hawk. Alright. 10 turn clock. Incoming. Watch out, opponent. Watch out. I don't need to play the Legion's Landing, so I won't. We could get 2 more tokens, essentially. But I'm not in any rush to do that. Do need to answer this Healer's Hawk, though, as weak and puny as it is an evasive creature that they can't block right now, and are probably unlikely to be able to as well. Alright. Gets a 2/2. Ooh, getting in with the Josu and the Torgar. So, if I don't block, they don't kill us, and we just Baffling End the Marshal, and we win, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have Xaxes right now. We should have used the Legion's Landing, I guess, as a little bit of a buffer, but I didn't expect them to actually attack us here. Let's go to 2. So let's try and go for lethal. They could just have a cast down or something like that, but we can put some more bodies on the board anyway. Yeah, I guess they were hedging against us not having removal there since we'd been holding it for so long. Maybe they were just assuming because I didn't immediately remove the next threat that popped up that I didn't have an answer. So, yeah, I think they were just trying to feign a top deck that didn't even need to exist because we were just being patient. So, yeah, pretty good. We were always going to win that game though, I think. Alrighty then, we have several 1-drops. Are these several 1-drops good enough? Not particularly, but we have a lot of good top decks that could make this hand look great. Yeah, I'm not blown away by the amount of non-creatures in our hand. It's very difficult for a hand like this to form, but here we are. Alright, let's go with... let's slap down Legion's Landing, I guess. I kind of want to put pressure on the board, but I also want to put something that I don't mind dying on the board first. So Healer's Hawk with the evasion is better than the Legion's Landing token. Next turn we could do Welcome plus Hawk if we don't draw a 2-drop or something like that. Evolving Wilds, okay. Typically when I see Evolving Wilds, it ends up being like budget control. Yep. There's a blue. Alright, so I want to get this down before they can counter it. And bring it up to a 3-3 as well, just in case Moment of Craving is a thing. Sometimes it exists. It's pretty good in the best of ones against mono red, so... trying to get out of that range at least. Thought Erasure, go for it. Take Healer's Hawk, I would imagine. Unless they've got Thief of Sanity, then taking Baffling End is good. Ooh, Dawn of Hope. Alrighty then. That's a card that I'm very glad to get underneath the counterspell. So they need Mortify for that. If they're running it in Esper control, then they've got that kind of answer. If not, if this is blue-black, then Dawn of Hope is pretty much here to stay. And card advantage it shall gain us. Could really do with a 3rd creature though, so we can flip the landing as well. But, I mean, Dawn of Hope acts as a Legion's Landing. So it is actually Esper. Oh boy. Alright, so if we Dawn of Hope now, we get a life and pump up our Pridemate. Only downside to that plan is our opponent going land into Kaya's Wrath. Which actually they can't because of this island, so we don't have to worry about that. But I imagine they kill a creature here. Or scoop it up. Fair enough. Can't keep up with the pressure, I guess. Yeah, it's a bit weird that they didn't have removal there, but I guess maybe Mortify was their removal of choice, and they had to choose between the Pridemate and the Dawn of Hope, which is an impossible decision, but, you know, fair enough. Alrighty then, we're on the play, and this hand looks absolutely solid. I'm gonna take it. Olga Moose, eh? Interesting. So, we've got a pretty aggressive start here. Adanto Vanguard's kind of difficult to deal with from a lot of decks. The indestructible capability there is pretty strong. Getting down Legion's Landing on turn 2 is also going to be quite nice. And then even having these Knights of Grace with Hexproof from black, it seems like a pretty reasonable control-hating kind of hand there. Which I dig. That I can get behind. I mean, even like Aggro, I think we've got a pretty good spot against just the first strike and the indestructible alone. All of those things are pretty nice. That being said, the indestructible on Vanguard comes at quite the hefty price against an Aggro deck. And an AFK opponent also doesn't stand a chance against this one, because they need cards to actually win. Ooh, my opponent appears to have returned, and they are playing a black-based deck, which means Knight of Grace is pretty solid. Okay, so we can go attack in, get a Knight of Grace with Hexproof from black, which is basically protection from all of their removal spells except for board wipes, which is pretty sweet. And then the turn after that, we can drop down maybe another Knight of Grace plus a Bodyguard, perhaps? And we're set up to basically flip the Legion's Landing at that point. Grixis. Alright. Thought Erasure. Go for it. Don't care. You're going to die well before that matters. Yeah, it takes the Adanto Vanguard, because they can't really answer indestructibility, I take it. But they also can't really interact with Hexproof from black either, I would assume. I guess they could have turn 3 Cry of the Carnarium, and that was probably a bad play, actually, to drop that down. I am going to pass here, though, since that is a possibility. Should really be playing around that, but... Sarkhan Fireblood. Alright, so we get Flip Legion's Landing.
Madness. What madness?
I'm unsure how much I should care about Sarkhan, but knowing how Sarkhan works, this could get him the bolus he needs next turn, or even actually get the turn 4 Niv Mizzet, which is a powerful effect. So I guess we should really take out Sarkhan, because he brings a lot of problems with him. We still get to flip the Legion's Landing, which is quite nice.
Impossible.
And our opponent didn't wipe before, which leads me to believe they don't have Cryocarnarium now. They did just loot though, so I'm not entirely sure how much I should commit. But I feel like it's a YOLO kind of situation. Let's just go all in. Protect the one creature that can be targeted. And then we've got an end step of Danto. Because we can always pick it back up again with the tokens if we do get wiped. It's just going to be really grim all the same. Barely see Ritual of Sut these days, but I'm sure today is going to be the exception to that. Dragon's Horde. Alright, so we're just full on Grixis Dragons then. It's not actually control running Sarkhan or anything like that. Which means Baffling End is essentially a dead card anyway, so my opponent can have it. And I think this game's going to be over pretty soon. So we'll make a token. And untap. Dawn of Hope. Oh my god, that's so good. Alright, get that down. Swing. Do a substantial amount of damage, putting them on lethal. And yeah, let's use the mana here just to draw some extra cards. It's a Plains, which is not great, obviously, but it's not a Plains I'm going to draw next turn, so we've kind of got that going for us. Here comes Niv Mizzet. But is it too late? I dare say it is. Alright. Another Knight of Grace. Okay, so we go swinging. They block a 2-2, they take 2, 4, 6, go down to 1. And then we get to draw some cards. So let's draw Johnny's Welcome, not great. Draw another one. And we get Plains. Well, we can play all of this. You only trigger off instants and sorceries, so we can play Johnny's Welcome just fine. And I feel like there is a chance that my opponent can clean sweep me here, so I'm going to get down the Knight of Grace. And pass. Because every time they draw, they get to ping 1 point of damage. So that Dauntless Bodyguard is dead. We've made our Vampire token indestructible, so that one's sticking around. But now they draw a card off the Dragon's Horde and ping off my Vampire. They still have to answer the 2 Knight of Graces here, which is doable, I think. It's like Opt and Chemisters would do it just fine. So that's 3 points of ping. They need one more 1 mana spell here. A Shock would do it. Or an Opt. Now pretty much anything will do it. Yep, tilt. Okay. They had everything they needed. Oh boy. Okay. Well, let's play Bodyguards, which will trigger a Welcome and allow us to draw a card. Maybe we can Conclave Tribunal our opponent off of a nice top deck. Oh boy. Just draw what you want. You won't have any problems. Get out of here. Nice. Opponent with the sweet Niv Mizzet top deck, followed by our sweet Tribunal top deck. We asked for what we wanted, and what we wanted, we got. Pretty good. That was basically our only out, I think. Alrighty then, we have a pretty Pridemate based hand here, so I'm gonna take this one actually. I like the look of this one, so we can go turn 1 Healer's Hawk. If it lives, then it'll be the lifelink we need to start pumping Pridemates. Depending on what colour we're going up against though, depends on whether or not I should play something like that. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with the Pridemate here. Get it to a 3-3. Most of my opponent's removal in green and black or Sultai, if that's what we're going up against, is basically just destroy effects, so shouldn't really expect Ajani's Pridemate to survive no matter what his toughness is, but if he was red, then we'd play around Shock, maybe Wizard's Lightning, trying to get this up to a 4-4 at least, but it was not meant to be. We can do another Pridemate as a little bit of a push. It's a possibility. Could also do Welcome plus Vanguard just to make this Pridemate in play already bigger, but I think we're fair to commit to this board. It's usually just like Wild Growth Walkers and things like that in the early stages, so just so long as we are bigger than they are, it's not really much of a problem. There's Jade Light Ranger, yep. We can grow well out of the range of these guys and go for the full-on aggro. They got their blue sauce there. I'm sure they're quite happy for that. Let's do Ajani's Welcome. And I think we go with the Leon and Vanguard. It gains us 1 life from entering the battlefield. And then the trigger takes Pridemate up to a 5-5. We can also just trade off with this Pridemate. Or do we want to wait a little while? We could also go with the Baffling End, that's also an option for us as well. Maybe it was the correct line to take. Not entirely sure. I imagine that we just get some chumps here. Wow, not doing anything. Okay. And next turn we can do the Baffling End. Get whatever blocker we need to out of the way. We know these Pridemates are going to be 1 point bigger than they already are on attacks as well because of the Vanguard. They're going to need something good here, like Vraska's Contempt. Hostage Taker. That'll kind of do it. Baffling End only deals with 3 mana cost creatures, so that is a problem, I think it's safe to say. But we can get the Jade Light Ranger out of the way, exile it completely, play the Dawn of Hope for the future, trigger the Pridemate, and get swinging, get swinging. They're forced to block, and unfortunately they're not forced to block the Pridemate with the Hostage Taker here, so it's going to be Jade Light blocks Pridemate. If I was to swing in with the Vanguard, it was going to be the same thing, except for Hostage Taker would kill Vanguard, which is real bad. Yeah, I would have liked an opportunity to get my Pridemate back, it just doesn't look like I'm going to get that. But we have a lot of card draw with this current board state. We've got Healer's Hawk drawing as a card, we've got Vanguard drawing as a card. Not anymore, but Healer on their own is probably going to be okay. It's a Plains, everybody's favourite. Okay, well, it's swinging. I wonder if I actually attacked him with the Vanguard, if they would block or not. Since it's pretty sketchy to give us a Pridemate back. Maybe they wouldn't want to take that risk and just take the extra 1. It's possible, I suppose. I'm going to play my Pridemate, because now they have the Hostage Taker to block. And I'm pretty sure they know they're going to need to do that. If they've got another Contempt, that's also going to suck. So now you Thief of Sanity. We draw another Plains. Love Plains. Yeah, Pridemate as a 4-4 is just basically double blocked here. Which sucks. Let's go to combat. Which gives me a card draw. Johnny's Pridemate. Yeah, they've even got the attack into Healer's Hawk, because they really won't be bothered about giving us 1 life. And they'll go right through us as well, because we don't really have good attacks. I guess I've got Pridemate plus draw off Dawn of Hope here as well. So just grow the squad again, I guess. Set up for a better attack next turn. Just really struggling with these planes. They're not as useful as you might imagine. Sure, they let me play my cards, but I have to have cards to play. There's Wild Growth Walker. Have we got Explore Creatures? We've got the best Explore Creature. Must be nice. Into a fine finality, because, oh my god, it can't go better for them. Alright. The stabilization is real. Yeah, even getting Pridemate synergies. Good god. We had him so close. See, I wonder if I should just let them have this. They're not going to get too many good things from us, honestly. Yeah, I think I'll just take it. This way I get to attack him with Healer's Hawk and draw an extra card. Extra land, sorry. There was just 2 that were milled there, so get a Johnny's welcome. Okay. Legion's Landing's pretty good. Play Legion's Landing. Well, play land first, then Legion's Landing. Get a token, gain a life, draw a card. Pump the Pridemates. Get another Dawn of Hope. That's crap. Alright. Pump the squad. Draw a card. Another land. Ah, see, I was destined to lose. Okay. Well. Pump the squad. Draw some cards. More Legion's Landings. Okay. I'm probably just going to go for an Alpha Strike next turn. I just wanted to get my good stuff out of finality range. That's all I really care about here. Just a big Hydro Crisis. Okay. More Pridemate synergy. Gain more life. Pump the Pridemates. Wow. Oh my god. Let me guess. Land, gas. No, it was 2 very good cards. Okay. Bodyguard protecting what? Wild Growth Walker? Yep, that Wild Growth Walker's sticking around. Oh, good. The 3rd Legion's Landing. Yeah, this is actually like I'm in hell, I think. Pretty sure Satan is making me feel warm and comfortable right now. Alright, pump the squad. Can I draw a good card, please? Not really. Not really. Alright, get Vanguard in there, gain a life. Draw a card. Pump the squad. Tribunal. That seems good. What do we Tribunal, though? I guess my own Pride... Well, my Pridemate, 'cause it's a 7/7. Blocked pretty well. Let's dump... You... You... And... You, I guess. And you. This isn't great, but it's the best we got. The problem is, when I go to combat, they'll trade off like crazy and then just get fine finality value. Which is obviously not what I want. But I don't think I have a better choice. 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, yeah, I mean, they can basically kill my Pridemate and have their way. Screw it, YOLO, let's just flip landing. I don't think we ever win this in a million years. We drew far too many lands. think if we were slightly more aggressive we had this, but it wasn't meant to be. So let's see how many things we can take out of the way. I mean, they've got the Wild Growth Walker plus sacking Bodyguard to give it indestructible anyway, so losing Summit here. Just going to keep that in mind as well when they go to doing their blocks. That Wild Growth Walker wants to be the last one to kill. I don't even know if that was necessary. 3, 6... No, it completely was unnecessary. Well, that works, I suppose. But now they get my hostage taker, I cry. And yeah, let's draw a card. Fine, finality gets hostage taker if they want to do that. Takes my Pridemate. Further adds to their board. Go in swinging first. Makes sense? Want to see what they can get out of my deck first before they play their slightly more powerful cards. Land, Knight of Grace, and then this unknown. Finality. Sure. Counter on Crisis? Yeah. It's a Vanguard. Okay. So, Bodyguards, protect Pridemate. That's a pretty good one. And yes, we'll pay 2. I just need good cards. Any good card is fine by me. Anytime now. Alright. Pump up my mate. Baffling End. You know what? That's pretty good. Baffling End gets rid of Crisis. And then we can swing for 14. Blocks Vanguard, of course. And now he's protected from cast downs. Not so much Vraska's Contempts, but take what we can get. I think I want to keep these guys for card draw of Dawn of Hope, rather than putting the extra point down. There's Vivian Reed to keep the board full of creatures.
Beasts are much more reliable than humans.
Oops.
Feel the wrath of Scala.
Thanks, bro. Alright. Opponent wants us to win. We got this. Nice. It's not how that works. But nice try, I suppose. Alright, go some lands. So, Vivian just killed herself, right? Pretty much. Pretty much. Healer's Hawk. Okay, play Healer's Hawk. Gain some life, draw some cards. We want to get above Wild Growth Walker range, if we can, with these Pridebates. Let's draw a card. And keep the cards flowing. That's Knight of Grace. Same again. Vanguard, not too bad. And then we'll do double Legions landing so that the Pridemates are bigger than Walker plus Branch Walker. There we go. Alright. You, and you. Okay, so now if they double block the Pridemate, Bodyguard kills. Let's keep the untapped land for shenanigans. Ta-da!
I've seen worse.
I doubt it. Have you seen Vivian Minus on Conclave Tribunal give back your opponent their own Pridemate? because it doesn't get much worse than that. Alright, Walker. Gets a land. Alright, we could actually be turning the corner here. Mostly because now my opponent's drawing as badly as I was. They are at 25 though. We just have to push through their creatures, and Bugler's a good way to do that. The go wide strategy. Do we want to pay? I think not. So I think Bugler, yeah, Bugler's almost guaranteed to get us a card every turn anyway. I'm thinking Healer's Hawk for the flyer potential. Get some life. This one I will draw for. And yeah, I think we just play just Knight of Grace. Or is it a Danto Vanguard? I guess it's Knight of Grace. Finality's kind of there. Removal of choice. Swing, 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 swing. That's about it. All we can do, really. Alright. These are getting into forced chump block territory, which is exactly where we want them to be. Means they're losing like 2 creatures every turn. Trigger, 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 trigger. Good stuff. And if they can't keep adding to the board or remove our Pridemates, this game's going to be over. We're also guaranteeing 3 points a turn as well as pumping up our Pridemates. Floating... Krasis. Doing the mana. Or maybe not. Maybe? 6 mana. There's no black in there, so it's not finality. Yeah, it is Cryodroid Krasis. Still got 5 mana actually with the Incubation Druid, so maybe they're doing Krasis into Vivian, perhaps? Nope. Alright, more lands. Let's do a Danto Vanguard. I think I just want to make a huge push here. I'm not sure whether I want to like lose my own creatures attacking through their board state like this, but getting Baffling End's pretty nice. I think Baffling End gets rid of Hydroid Krasis again. So it allows my Healer's Hawks to come through, because I can already get through on the ground with my Pridemates. So swing, 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 swing. And yeah, I would lose 2 creatures, but they can't really afford to just let this stuff through, so I'm thinking that I actually just do Alpha Strike here. If I lose 2 creatures, they die, so I can only really lose 1 if they're chumping the Pridemate here. So you're dead? Or have you got Cast Down? Must have Cast Down, right? Assassin's Trophy. Okay. You are taking a lot of damage, good sir. You're at 6. It's a 2-turn clock with my Healer's Hawks. Yeah, let's just keep drawing. Got 15 cards in our deck, good god. Alright. Bugle is good. Alright, pass the turn. They also have the Cast Down. God, this game was surprisingly closer than I thought it would be. Because now we lost our big threat. Could really do with another Baffling End, but I've used them all. I'm not entirely sure that I can get anything else good from my deck. Except for just purely more creatures, which I guess is fine in itself. We can also make 3 Donahope tokens a turn as well, so... yeah, I think we just continue with the Alpha Strike beats here. Lose 2 creatures. Well, I can pay 4 on the Vanguard, so we don't lose that. We only lose 1 creature here. I've got plenty of life to spare. Takes them to 1, and they need a board wipe. Gonna decline all the card draw now. We're just gonna make tokens. So even through a board wipe, we can rebuild and keep the pressure on. Wow. Just... wow. That was not a match I thought I was winning. I was getting quite tilted that my cards were very terrible, and they were, don't get me wrong. But I think the scales ended up tipping in our favour towards the end there, and our opponent got a taste of our medicine, which is a thing, I suppose. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. With War of the Spark coming back around, I'm not entirely sure when the next video is going to be, because I kind of don't want to put out more content for decks that are just going to be no longer viable when the new set comes around, because it does seem like the kind of set that would warp a format, and therefore anything that I build is not really set in stone to actually be good, or just like playable by the time the next set comes around. So you might not see some videos from me until after that comes around, maybe Friday, I think. Stay tuned for that anyway, and if you enjoyed this one, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, all that jazz. The link will be down in the description if you do want to export this deck for yourself. It's quite cheap and a lot of fun, and upgrades into what is effectively I would say a tier 1 best of 1 list. The mono white aggro list is pretty popular at the moment, so this has got a lot of the fun pieces to it while staying pretty budget at the same time. But yeah, thanks very much guys, like and subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.